It has nearly been more than 2 decades since Renault factory team won a world title in 2006. After that, it was very successful as an engine manufacturer during the period between 2010 and 2013, winning 4 consecutive world titles with the Red Bull Racing team. But it was never successful again as a full factory team and rebranded several times as well. For the 2021 season, Renault administration decided to rebrand their factory team with their sports car brand Alpine. Now the team is running with the Alpine brand for the 3rd consecutive year. When considering their performance since the start of the turbo hybrid era, they were never successful either as a racing team or an engine manufacturer. With the poor performance of their engines, they lost all the customer teams and are now supplying engines for only their factory team Alpine. The 2023 season has already commenced, and Alpine didn't enjoy much of a successful result at the first race in Bahrain. Everyone was surprised with Gasly's performance in the first race, as he was able to push his A523 from P20 to P9, but Esteban Ocon wasn't able to finish the race due to multiple issues he faced during it. Most Alpine fans have an impression that drivers were unable to unleash the full potential of the A523. Through this video, we are going to discuss about Alpine's 2023 campaign. But before we proceed, hit the subscribe button and smash the bell icon for more exciting updates. Alpine has started its 3rd season with a 100-race plan to bring the Enstone team towards the front of the grid. It was able to finish its last season as the 4th best team on the grid, reducing the gap between the top 3 teams, Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari. However, the new season appears to be a more challenging one for many teams. When asked about Alpine's plan for a new season, Alpine's new CEO Laurent Rossi highlighted the length of the time required to bring the team to the front-running position. 2 years ago I said, we are on a 100-race journey, and I maintain that. It takes time to turn around a ship like that to basically get where Red Bull is, Rossi said. All these teams have taken like a good 3-4 years, 5 years for some, Ferrari even longer to get back to the podiums, and we are on this path, hopefully. The first 2 years of that kind of 4 or 5 year plan are going well. They delivered according to our expectations. We finished 5th in 21, 4th in 22. So it's only natural now we're looking towards the other spots up there on the podium. But I have to say we are also very well aware that the gap to 3rd is like it's big. I think this year, which is a critical one, we need to show that we are capable of getting closer to these guys. Of course, to beat them would be ideal, so everyone has that as a stretch target. A moonshot, I would say, but the minimum is to finish 4th and start bridging that gap to 3rd, he added further. Last year, Alpine had 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso in their driver lineup, and his 2-decade-long experience was very helpful in the development process of their Alpine Challenger. But he left the team at the end of the previous season to join Aston Martin as a replacement for Sebastian Vettel. In addition to that, the Enstone-based team had a very strong reserve driver, Oscar Piastri, last season, who was the 2021 Formula 2 champion. But with the dispute that occurred between Piastri and Alpine management regarding his position in the team, Piastri was not happy. When Alonso suddenly decided to move to Aston Martin at the end of the last season, Alpine management turned towards Piastri. But they were too late, as Piastri had already signed a secret agreement with McLaren to drive for the 2023 season. This was a huge blow to their 2023 season at the beginning, and searched for a better option to replace both Alonso and Piastri. In the end, Alpine decided to sign former AlphaTauri driver Pierre Gasly. But the big question is whether Gasly is capable of matching the level of performance delivered by Alonso. During any of the 3 practice meetings in the Bahrain GP, they couldn't break into the top 5, despite the fact that they focused on the number 3 completion in the constructors' standings. Their pace was insufficient to meet their goals for the season, and Gasly's P7 in the 2nd practice session was their best result out of the 3. Unfortunately, Gasly had a disastrous qualifying, finishing in P20. Luckily, Ocon managed to climb into the top 10. His pace was only good enough for P9 at the end, not enough to last through Q3. But Gasly was able to catch the attention with his P9 finish after his disastrous qualifying session. Gasly attacked every midfield team when he was pushing hard his A523 from P20 to P9, and it was a simple demonstration of what actually the 2023 Alpine challenger can do. Team principal Ottmar Schaffnauer talked positively about the current performance of the team, despite the problems that they faced in Bahrain. "We still don't know its true pace because of some of the operational things that happened in the race," Schaffnauer said. "Esteban had all of his issues that we talked about, and Pierre was stuck in 19th for quite some time at the beginning. I'm looking at lap times, and if you ever watch a race between the guys up front and the guys at the back, you can be 2 seconds a lap different just because of where you're racing. So, I still don't know where we are relative, just because we're out of position with one car and the other car had the problems we talked about. I don't think we're far off." Schaffnauer compared the overall performance of the team with their rival teams, and he further stated that if they were free of all the issues faced during the weekend, Alpine would enjoy a better result than that. It is true when comparing the lap times of Alpine with rival teams, they were clearly at a position to attack Mercedes and Alfa Romeo if Gasly had a better qualifying result. "I think we were about 16 seconds behind Bottas at that point, and we caught him but couldn't overtake in the end. So I think that stint worked well," Schaffnauer said. "Looking at it from an optimistic standpoint, and say if Pierre had started 9th, we would have beaten Bottas for sure. How close would we have been to Mercedes and I think Stroll? They were 16 seconds ahead of us. We need to have a look. Now we just need to outdevelop them, so we can close a gap to those guys we want to beat," he added further. It was a totally disastrous race for Esteban Ocon, as he had to face 3 penalty points during the race, equaling the unwanted record set by Pastor Maldonado in 2015. In order to avoid further damage to him, as well as the overheating of the engine due to long pit stops, the Alpine administration decided to retire him at the 47th lap of the race. Even though there are some positive points in the race, the Bahrain GP was a disaster for Alpine overall. There are a lot of things they need to improve as a team if they want to achieve their targets this season. It will never be an easy task for them to achieve the 3rd position in the constructors' standings, as there is a 4-team battle at the top with the unexpected improvement shown by the Aston Martin team. In the midfield, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri and Williams have also shown considerable improvements. So Gasly and Ocon have a huge role to play if they want to demonstrate a considerable improvement in this season compared to the previous year. What do you think about Alpine's 2023 campaign? Will they be able to see success at the end of their 100 race plan? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel to get more exciting Formula 1 news. See you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.